The camera. This is June 10th, 2022. This is Myrtle Klemp, and this is Randall Davidson interviewing Myrtle Klemp.
All right.
Okay? And we're going to talk about when you got married. So what year did you get married to Art?
1942.
1942. Wasn't the war was going on, wasn't it?
What?
Was the war happening? World War
Yeah.
II? Was Art in the army or anything like that?
No.
And so he was one of the few available men. Did you have to settle on him, or was he somebody that you always wanted to get married to?
I don't know, always.
You knew him for a long time.
Yeah, probably.
When did you first meet him? How old were you?
Oh, we went to grade school together.
You did?
Yeah.
How old was he when you first met him?
He was a year younger than I.
So how old were you when you first met him?
I suppose in first grade.
First grade. You were 6.
Yeah.
And he was 5? Or you were 7 and he was 6?
Yeah.
Interesting. And you went to the church school, is that right? How far did you have to walk to get to church, to get to school?
A mile and a half.
A mile and a half? And how far did Art have to walk to get to school?
Well, he just had to go across the street.
So you had to work for your education, is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so did you go, there was only one school. That means one school. Was there one teacher for all of the students?
For all 8 grades.
And how many students were in the school?
Well, not too many, about 20.
20 people.
Yeah.
How could the teacher organize a day and teach students at all of these different levels? How did you do that?
I did that too.
You did?
When I first started to teach, I had 17 students, and I just had 7 grades because there was one grade I didn't have anybody.
You had 17 students from grade, did they have kindergarten back then?
No.
It was just first grade? First grade up to what grade?
8.
8th grade.
And they had to take state boards in 7th and 8th grade.
What did you do before the 7th grade? Did you have to take boards in 5th grade, 4th grade?
In 7th grade, well, there were just a couple subjects that I think spelling and
reading.
Reading?
Maybe reading.
What about math?
Math, and maybe math. Yeah.
Yes.
But then in 8th grade, then you got citizenship.
Yeah, say that 3 times fast. Yeah, citizenship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and every subject, spelling, I think we got spelling in 6th grade,
Right.
national.
And you didn't go to 9th grade, is that right? You stopped at 8th grade was the last grade?
Yeah.
What happened to students who wanted to go to school for 9th grade?
You went to high school then.
Where was the high school?
Oswald.
Osseo.
Yeah.
That was quite a ways away.
Yes. In fact, if you lived on a farm 7 miles away, and you couldn't get to high school every day unless you drove a car or you lived with somebody in town.
Right.
Like I lived. What did I do?
Dr. St. Cyr.
Yeah.
Dr. St. Cyr, you lived with him.
Yeah.
But did everybody in your family older than you go to high school?
Yeah.
They all went to high school.
Let's see now. Bernice went to high school. She lived with Grandma, my grandmother.
Oh, right.
She lived in Oswald too. Now Dorothy didn't go to high school. I don't know why. She was next to Bernice.
Yes, and then who was the next youngest?
And I was the 3rd.
And what about the kids who were younger than you?
By that time, I had two cousins that were twins. They drove a car, and Clarence and those 2 boys, I don't know, maybe somebody else.
Yeah.
They drove the Ford.
Because they had a car.
Yeah, because they had a car.
That's the Shuddy brothers?
Shuddy brothers.
Boy,
Oh
the
my-
Shuddys must have been rich.
Well, the Ford wasn't too much expensive,
In those
but,
days.
Okay.
but it was
You didn't have a car.
no. But I lived with a doctor and his wife.
Yes.
So I stayed and worked, and then I could work Saturday mornings, and then I could go home Saturday afternoon at 3, and I could stay home.
How did you get home?
Or Dad got me back.
Oh, he came pick you up.
He'd have to pick me up
In Osseo.
in Osceola, and I could stay over for church on Sunday, and then I'd have to be back at the doctor's place by 3 in the Sunday afternoon,
Right.
so they could go out and do something,
Do what they needed to do.
on Sunday.
Yeah, I get that. Even the doctor gets a vacation every day, every once in a while.
Yeah,
Did you ever have a job when you were in high school, or you were just working in that house?
that
That
I
was her
just
job.
worked at the house.
That was your.
Answered the phone when they went out at night.
So you had to answer the phone.
Yeah,
What if there was an emergency?
Huh?
What if there was a medical emergency? How could you get hold of the doctor to let him know there was a problem?
well, if he left a telephone number.
Oh, well, not a cell phone.
But he could leave a number. Let's say he was going out to a restaurant. He could leave the number.
He could leave the number of the
Right.
restaurant.
Wow. And then you would call.
Yeah,
So you were basically watching the home front,
yeah.
keeping the home office running.
And then,
Did they have kids?
No,
They still were.
no children.
Uh-huh.
And I never answered the door at night.
No, right.
Just,
Was Clarence, when he went to high school, did he have polio at that point?
yes, he had polio when he was a year old.
Oh, very young.
Yeah, very young.
Very young.
And he went, they drove to high school with
The Shuddys.
2 Shuddy twins.
Right.
Yeah.
And after Clarence, who's the next youngest? Who's the next person?
Is Millie older than Clarence?
Millie is older. Millie lived with the superintendent of the school
Wow.
and took care of, their children
Right.
when they went out.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then Bernice went to high school.
Bernice was, when she was older,
Right.
She was maybe 3 years older.
Right.
And then she went and lived with my grandparents
Right.
and went to high school.
And she was in high school. June did not go to high school. You went to high school. Mildred went to high school.
Drove with Clarence and the Shuddy twins.
Okay, so
They drove every day.
got it. And then that was all the kids that you had in your family? You only had 5 kids?
No, 6.
About that, we had
Bernice,
yeah.
Dorothy, Myrtle, Millie,
Mildred,
Clarence.
and then
June.
June.
Okay, I was waiting for that.
Yeah,
Did June go to high school?
June went to high school.
She did.
By that time, there were buses.
They came. Oh my goodness! In that period of time, many years. But from the time Bernice started going to school,
Yeah.
and then June wanted to go to school, there was a bus by that point.
Yeah.
That's
How
interesting.
much younger is June than you?
Oh, quite a bit.
Like 10 years younger?
No, really? That old?
I think so.
About 10 years. Huh.
Because I was in school when she was a baby,
You were in what grade?
first grade.
You were in what grade?
The first grade, I think.
6 years old,
Yeah.
and she was a baby when you were 6. So that's 6 years. Then,
Yeah.
and that's 9 years. 3 years for Bernice, 6 years younger than Myrtle. That's 9 years between the youngest
Yeah.
and the oldest.
Yeah. So
Interesting. Okay, so now you met Art.
We went to grade school.
You went to grade school.
Yeah.
He had to walk across the street, you had to walk 1.5 miles.
Yep. He lived right next to the school.
Did he go to the same? Where did he go to high school?
He went to Concordia
Oh,
when he was in 9th grade. After he passed the state boards,
right.
then he went to Concordia and St. Paul.
And how did you keep in touch with him? Did you keep in touch with him when you got to be?
Well, his dad was our pastor, so they were always in church.
And you got to know each other and stayed together.
Yeah,
Did you ever go on dates in high school?
no,
Because he was at Concordia and you were in Osseo.
no.
Where do you mean in Concordia? What does that, is that
In Concordia College, St. Paul.
did they have a prep program for?
They had high school.
They did.
Yeah, he took the high school years at Concordia.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I did not. What years was that? That was been in 39 or 38? 38, 39, 40, and 41?
39. See, I went.
Well, he would have been.
I graduated from high school in 34.
34.
Yeah.
So he would have been in high school at 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade
Yeah.
in 1930, 31, 32. During the Depression,
Yeah.
he was in high school.
Yeah.
And it
So
cost
were you-
it cost money to do that too, to go to Concordia.
I don't know how that worked.
Well, they had tuition. They had to make tuition.
Yeah.
So anyway, he went to Concordia. You were in Osseo.
Yeah.
You were 1 year apart from each other.
Yeah.
And then when you graduated high school, you went to the one room schoolhouse.
Normal training in Anoka.
What school?
It was called normal training.
Normal training.
You got to take courses so that you could go on and teach after 1 year of college.
Right. And then after that, after you got done with college, normal, you went to a school and lived nearby.
Lived a mile out of Osseo where the school was.
And how many kids did you have there?
I had 17 the first year.
How many years did you work in that school?
I think I just worked there 2 years.
2 years.
And I'd always go to St. Cloud State in the summer,
Got it. And get more training.
get more training.
So when you moved out to go after normal school, then you went to work and you lived with a family.
I lived with a family a mile out of Osseo.
And did they take you to the school or did you walk to school?
I walked.
You walked. And what time did this?
It was just maybe 2 blocks.
Oh, not that far.
No.
So how early in the morning did you get to the school?
About 8 o'clock.
Oh, 8 o'clock, not 6 in the morning or something like that. Was it a heated building?
Oh, yes.
Did they have a stove or did you have to?
They had a pot-belly stove,
Right.
and they have a janitor that came and, fed the
The potbelly stove.
Yeah,
Did he put wood or coal?
I think mostly wood.
Mostly wood.
I can't remember everything.
Yeah, I know you remember a lot. So about 8 o'clock, and then you would get there a little bit earlier, and the kids would get there.
Yeah,
And
I'd probably get there soon after the fire was started.
to get the room warmer.
Yeah, you had to have seat work all planned for all the kids. So you really had to work the night before.
Right. And so after work every day,
Every day.
you have to prepare for the next day.
Put questions on the board
Right.
for different age groups. You really had to work.
Did you have electricity at the schoolhouse?
Oh.
So it was wood heat, no electricity. Did you have lamps?
You just didn't work at night.
That solved that problem. There you go. Just don't work at night. Okay. But wait a minute. Like early morning, it's still dark out.
Well, you didn't get there until about 7:30, 8 o'clock
Okay.
when it was light.
And it was starting to get light then.
Yeah,
And no electricity in the building at all. Just a stove, a potbelly stove.
yeah, that's right. And you had to pump water.
Yes, I would assume that's true. If you don't have electricity, you don't have a.
So where did they go to the bathroom?
They have an outhouse
Oh, and who took care of the
for the
outhouse?
boy and the girls.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And you had 17 children the first year. How many people were in the second year? How many students did you have in the second year?
Well, let's see. I know I had 2 8th graders the first year.
Yes.
Bright boys, very bright.
Uh huh.
They went to college.
And what was their name? What was their name?
Heisler, not Leighton. There was a Heisler boy.
Horsler boy. Yeah.
And who was the other? There was another boy. They were just two. They had to take state boards in the spring.
And they were super smart, weren't they?
They were smart, so
They aced
had
it.
good scores.
And that was in the 8th grade. Then they where did they go to high school? They go to Osseo.
Yeah.
Yep. And then how many kids in the 7th grade or the 6th grade?
Oh, I just had 2 8th graders.
Yeah. And did you have any 7th graders?
Yeah, I had some 7th graders, but then they went 2 years to get to 7th grade and 8th grade.
Right.
And then you take state boards in the 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
In the 8th grade, you take the state boards, and if you pass the state boards,
Yeah.
you can go to high school.
Yep.
And how did your students do on those tests?
Oh, they were very high. They were very bright kids. And they went to high school and went to college after a while.
Oh my, that's really quite amazing.
Yeah. Well, they were very good students.
And did you keep track of them when they went?
Yeah. Because I was still there at that school, and they came home. You
Oh,
know.
right. And did they, when they went to college, do you know where they went to college?
Yeah, I think they went to the university.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Minnesota.
wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
To get into the University of Minnesota from a one-room schoolhouse that had 2 outhouses and a potbelly stove and no electricity, and you had to pump the water yourself, that's not bad.
They learned how to work.
Yeah, they worked.
They did work.
They were very bright.
That's
They were some of
fantastic.
the brightest kids I ever had.
Interesting.
2 of them. I also had a couple others that weren't that bright, but they never made it past 8th grade.
Did they pass the state boards?
No.
Nope. Then they didn't go to high school.
So when did Eldon show up?
Huh.
When did Eldon,
Well, he was in 3rd grade.
your first year?
2nd grade and 3rd grade. I had him for 2 years.
In second grade?
Eldon was very bright.
Mm-hmm.
Did he go to college too?
Oh, sure.
Where did he go to college?
University.
Again.
Minnesota.
But by the time you left, what was the name of that school that you were teaching at?
I stayed there just 2 years, and then I went to my home district public school,
Okay.
District 66.
In 36?
66
Is the name of the
district.
Oh, District 66.
Yeah.
But what was the name of the one-room schoolhouse? What was that called? Did they have a name for it?
I don't think so.
It was just a schoolhouse, and it was a little bit outside of
Yeah.
Osseo.
Yeah, but 1 mile out of Osseo. Because on Fridays I can walk. I lived with the family
Yes.
right across from the school. But then on Friday I would walk to Osseo with my suitcase a
A
mile
mile.
and then go to my grandmother.
Oh, you stayed with her?
I stayed with her, or either my dad got me from Oswald.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Which was about 7 miles away. It's a long walk to go all the way home. That's 7 miles with a suitcase. That's a long ways.
That's a long ways. That's
So when you live in somebody's house and you're the teacher and staying in their house.
I lived with a family. They just had one boy.
How old was he?
He was 3 and 4 the 2 years
Yeah,
I
yeah.
lived there.
Where did you do your laundry?
I didn't do laundry. I just did it at home on the weekend.
That's my question. You answered my question. When you do the laundry, did you have to make the food, or did they cook for you?
The lady of the house made all the food and made a lunch for me.
Did they have indoor plumbing? Did you use the bathroom in the house?
We did have a bathroom.
Okay.
Yes,
That was a pretty fancy house.
that was a fancy house. Yeah,
Was it yellow?
And yeah, my home had a bathroom too.
Uh-huh.
When we were about, must have been 3rd grade, we had a bathroom.
Right, quite a while. And then how old were you when you were teaching? You must have been 19 or 20?
Yeah, it wasn't much more. I don't think I was even 20.
So you're 19 years old, you're teaching by yourself,
Yeah, just all 8 grades.
all 8 grades, and 19 years old, 20 years old. And at the end of the 20th year, where did you go? You were 20 years old, and you were not teaching in that house, that school anymore. Where did you teach? What did you do next?
Then I taught in a home district where District 66,
Yeah, District
where I
66.
had all 8 grades, but I don't know.
It was
I know the school board asked me to teach there, and then I could get a lot closer to, I could live at home.
Oh, and so you could go home at night.
I could go home, yes.
How did you get to home? Where
Ah.
was the school?
Well, a mile and a half walked.
So that's not terrible.
No,
In the winter, it's a little terrible. Did you walk to school on the snowy days? The cold days?
if it wasn't too cold. Otherwise, my dad took me.
Got it. And that's, a few days of the year you would get a ride.
Yeah, but fall and spring I walked.
Was
And June was my student, so she walked with me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
And that school is a one room schoolhouse as well?
Were Eldon and June the same age? Eldon and June?
No, June was younger.
Than
I think
Eldon?
Eldon was a little older, because let's see,
He's about,
Eldon was I had him in 2nd and 3rd grade.
mm-hmm. And June wasn't in school with Eldon then.
No. She was younger.
Did they go to the same school?
No.
No. Like you were with Eldon 2nd and 3rd grade, then you went to this other school, and that's when you got June.
Yeah,
And how many years did you teach in that school?
2 years. And then somebody from another district, after 2 years, the 2nd year, a member of the school board came out to my school and asked if I could come to teach at their school, but I'd have to have my 2nd year certificate.
Oh,
So then the second year, I had gone to summer school for
Right.
2 summers, so I could go and teach there.
oh, because they wanted you to be more
And I could-
qualified.
Then I'd only teach 4 grades, 1st through 4th
Fourth grade.
grade.
1st through 4th grade.
Yeah.
And by this point, you were 21 or 22 years old?
What?
You were 21 or 22 years old when you went to teach at that new school?
Let's see.
Because you were 19 and 20.
19, 20, 21.
21, and that's when you were in District 66.
And that was, let's see.
Yeah, I'm doing math. I'm doing my math.
Yeah.
So I'm using my fingers when I'm counting.
I was through high school by 18.
18, then 19 and 20. Well, 19 you went to normal school.
Yeah.
20 and 21 you were in the first school. 22, 23 you were in District 66.
Yeah.
24 you went to a new school.
And then I went back I got my second year of college.
You went back to college at St. Cloud?
Every summer.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, and then after those couple summers, then I had enough credits for another year.
That's great.
Yeah. So then
I want to figure out how art gets into this picture.
well, he was in
He's in Concordia.
He was in St.
St.
Louis.
Paul for 2 years. Then he went to St. Louis for
4 years.
3 or 4 years.
So you must have been 26 when you got married, or 27?
I think I'm about 20, either 26.
Well, let's see. You were born in 1915 and you got married in 1942.
Yeah.
So you were married on June 21st, 1942.
So you were 27.
Yeah.
She hadn't turned 20. They were married on the 21st of June and you turned 27 on July 12th.
Okay, so almost 27.
You were 26
Yeah.
when you were
26 when you got married, so you must have been 1 year when in the new school that they moved you to. After District 66, you went to another school. You must have worked there for 2 years.
Yeah, I worked there for 2 years before I was married at the new school.
So you went 2 years in the one-room schoolhouse, 2 years in District 66, and then 2 years after you got the second year, you went to another school for 2 more years.
Yeah.
They were promoting you and you didn't even know it. It sounds like it.
Yeah.
You kept getting moved up.
What's your,
And you got more qualifications, you got more education.
just summer school?
Yeah.
But still.
And then after the second year of teaching, I haven't gone to summer school for 6 weeks.
6
for
weeks?
12 weeks.
Right.
Then I had credits for another year of teaching.
Right.
And then I could, what did I do? I can't forgot.
Did Bernice go to St. Cloud State with you?
What?
Did Bernice?
No, Bernice said she went to she quit teaching in the country school and went back to college for another year.
Right.
And so she could teach in Roseau, Minnesota.
Roseau?
Wait a minute, no.
By Canada.
Yeah.
That's
She was almost teaching in a foreign country.
Yep. That's where she went after she got her 2 years.
Now I hope she lived closer than a mile away from the school, because that's a long walk in the cold weather.
Wow. So she was just in Roseau 1 year? Or do you think?
I think so. I kind of forgot.
Yeah, it's sort of fuzzy. Yeah.
Yeah.
She ended up living most of her life in San Diego after Roseau.
Yeah.
That was a good move.
She went to Roseau. I went to San Diego in summer during vacation, and then she liked
Yeah,
San
exactly.
Diego. Yeah.
She said it's not so cold.
So
No.
after 2 years at Roseau, she went to San Diego.
Now I want to know, that's funny about being so cold in Roseau. She went to San Diego. What did you do for your summer vacations? You were going to school 6 or 12 weeks in the summertime. Did you have any vacation?
Not too much.
I don't think so.
Just a couple of weeks in August.
What did you do for your vacation?
Stayed home.
Slept.
Well, those were the war years.
Exactly.
I mean, from 19...
Oh, you didn't do much. No, you stayed put
Yeah.
You didn't. You
Interesting.
didn't take vacation.
Especially if your dad was a farmer. Summers are
Harvest and, planting and harvesting.
right.
Yeah.
So not that, now let's go back to Art.
He went to Concordia to St. Paul 2 years, and
Right.
then he went 4 years in St. Louis.
So then right after he was done in St. Louis, did he move back to town?
No, then he, let's see.
He went to be a vicar, didn't he?
Yeah, he did his vicarage in Washington State,
Oh, he did.
by West Coast.
Did you keep writing? Or did you talk to
Yeah,
him at all?
He would write, and then he'd come home for Christmas.
Right.
And summers,
Okay, now I'm going to get down to real tax. Myrtle.
What?
He would come home for Christmas.
Yeah.
Would you consider that you were dating during that time?
Well, I probably did,
How would people date during World War II?
You would go to a movie or something.
Oh, you would?
Sure. Yeah, they usually had a car.
Who's they?
Whoever there was.
How many boyfriends did you have?
Not too many.
Okay, now tell me the truth. Did you have a number of dates with different men?
Yeah, with different.
Different guys?
Yeah,
And then Art would come home for Christmas,
yeah.
and you'd see him at Christmas. Meanwhile, you were writing to him. Were you writing every month, every week, every year?
Oh, maybe once a month or so.
So not that often.
Not that often.
But this was your courtship, is that you were writing each other once a month.
That was it.
That was it. It was not a very torrid affair.
No, but he'd come home vacations.
Uh-huh.
And
And then what?
then he'd come over or get ready to take him to their. He had a house in town
Who did?
where there were 8 children
Oh, right.
and 2 boys and then 6 girls.
And they all lived
And
together?
They had a house. The father bought a house for them because the girls worked in the banks
Right,
in
right.
Minneapolis.
That was the 3426 Oliver Avenue North.
Yes.
That's quite a ways from where your house was.
Oh yeah.
Did he have a car?
No, you didn't see people that often because they were too far away and didn't have a car.
But the house in town, Louise and Gertrude, could
Yeah.
take the bus on Penn Avenue,
And they get into the city.
and they could get into the city to work at
Yeah, but downtown, right?
Northwest National Bank.
That's where their women worked.
I'm trying to find out how you kept in touch with Art.
Well, there'd be vacations. They'd invite you to have dinner with them, and then
But you would go over to he would come over to your house, your parents'
Yeah.
house. You would be there at Christmas vacation.
yeah,
You're sitting in the living room.
yes,
He comes over and you visit.
yes.
And,
And they played the player piano.
that's sort of hard to do because the piano
But
the player
that's,
piano is playing all of itself.
but I remember Dad saying that he could, the two of you could sit at the piano together, and he gave you piano lessons.
Yeah.
And then he could sit next to her, and he.
I believe
liked-
this is what I'm trying to find out how the two of you kept courting. Was he flirting with you?
What?
Did he flirt with you?
He'd invite me to dinner at their house
Okay, in the city.
after church. I'd go to their house next to church.
And so all the brothers and sisters are in this house.
Well, not all,
Hopefully not all of them.
because almost all of them were working.
Yeah, and they were all older. Art was the baby of 8.
He was younger. There were 8 children,
Right.
and his older brother was Already a pastor.
Already a pastor. So no hanky panky while he's there. And so, and then you would come over for dinner, and then would you go to a movie or something?
No, maybe once in a blue moon.
Not very often.
No,
So what did you
we
do?
just played. You just had lunch with them and played cards or did some entertainment with the sisters.
Would you do that for like all day?
Well, no, not all day.
But you would play 500.
Yeah.
You played 500, and then you
He
would.
had sisters that were working. His dad bought a house for the girls so that all the people that worked at downtown
Right.
had a
Had a
house
place.
to live in
And he was still on the farm. Is that the father was still on the farm?
at the farm church.
Got it.
His father was our pastor.
Yeah.
I was confirmed by him.
Mm-hmm.
And you were about 12 when you get confirmed, 14?
13.
13 or 14?
12 or 13.
12 or 13.
I think Dorothy and I went to confirmation together. I was 12 and she was 13. And then after that, I lived away from home.
Right. That was a very important moment in your life when you started living with Dr. St. Cyr.
Yeah,
And you were getting your education. That was really important, I think.
very important. Because he'd drive me 7 miles to Anoka training school before he went to the hospital in the morning.
Oh my.
And
oh
that was really special.
It was. It was very special.
Yeah, because otherwise I couldn't have gone to high school.
That's exactly right.
There weren't any buses early enough.
To get you there.
Did you get to be friends with anybody in the high school, or was it just bear down and get educated? Did you have friends?
I had friends in high school,
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
But then I, didn't do too much because I was working from my room and
Right.
board.
Right.
And I'd have to be there at night for answering the phone.
So at the end of the school day, did you
I
just
went
stay
to
in
the
the school?
house and were helped clean the house or
Right.
prepare supper.
But he had to come from the hospital to pick you up to take you back to the house.
No, I took the bus back.
Got it.
He paid for buses,
Got it.
my bus
That
fare.
makes
But he took me in the morning because there were no early buses.
right.
So then he would take me to Anoka. That was 7 miles.
Yes.
Then he'd drive to Minneapolis to make his rounds.
Right. He was in wasn't he North Memorial Hospital?
North Memorial.
Yeah, North Memorial,
Yeah.
which is
Close to the north
Yeah.
end of town.
yeah, exactly.
End of town.
It's still there.
Sure.
This is new information for me. I didn't know anything about this before.
Oh, well, in those days you had to do things that you wouldn't do today.
And I'm trying to learn what those things are.
Well, you worked for your room and board. You didn't have time for anything else.
So you didn't get that goof off as a teenager. You had to go back to cleaning the house and taking care of the house, and then you do your homework.
We were after you had your chores.
After your chores, you'd eat dinner there at the house.
Yeah,
They might go away. You'd answer the phone.
I answered the phone. I'd have to sleep in their bedroom where the phone was until they got home, and
Right.
then I could go to my room.
Did they have one of these phones that you would crank that was hanging on the wall?
No, they had a little disc phone.
Oh, a desk phone. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just getting a picture in my mind of what it was like. You slept in their bed until they got home.
No, I slept in. I'd have to go to their room because I didn't have a phone in my room.
No, I know. And
So
then
I'd sleep in their bed until they got home. Then I'd go back to my bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
because I wouldn't hear the phone.
No, I get it. I totally get that.
Just on the other end of the house.
Yeah, yeah. That is. I mean, I'm seeing things were very different back then.
Yeah.
So how long were you engaged to Art before you got married?
I honestly don't know.
Okay. When did
Not that long. Maybe a year. Less than a year.
Maybe a year, I don't know. Not too much longer.
Yeah. Because you got married on June 21st, 1942.
Yeah.
So maybe you knew the summer before in 1941?
Yeah, he usually came home for the summer
Yeah.
or the vacations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and definitely for Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas vacation.
And he came on the train. He must have come on the train from St. Louis to Chicago and Chicago to here.
I think that's, yeah.
There's no direct train from St. Louis to St. Paul.
You know, I really don't know whether they do that or...
It was a big trip to come from St.
Yeah.
Louis. That's really what I'm trying to get is that it was a long day trip or 2 days maybe.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he would go back to school, and in the summer he would be here.
Yeah,
And you get to see each other then.
yeah.
When did he propose to you? How did he what was the occasion when he proposed to you to get married?
I think for Christmas after he was in college, after he was in the ministry.
He done his vicarage.
Yeah,
He came back from Washington State,
yeah.
and that first Christmas he asked you to get married.
I think so. I can't.
You don't remember? It's not a big moment in your memory. You weren't like, oh, I'll never forget this moment.
Was he already in Wyoming? Was that
Yes.
that was his
Yes.
first?
That was his first page.
So he started in Wyoming in 1941. Do you think?
Yeah, he was
I'm here.
40 or 41.
40 or 41, and then 42 you got married.
42.
And we were in the middle of the war.
Yeah, that's right.
You got married, and then wasn't
When
Pearl
they-
Harbor? Wasn't that in December 7th, 1942?
No. Before that. When was Pearl Harbor? Was in 1940?
40. Yeah,
Pearl Harbor was 1940? No.
let's see. I think it was for 1940.
When was Pearl Harbor Day?
National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day is on Wednesday, December 7th, 2022.
When was Pearl Harbor?
Okay. When was Pearl Harbor?
It happened December 7th, 1941.
Yeah, so
41.
41.
so the 6 months before you got married. And wasn't sugar rationed?
Oh yeah, gasoline,
Oh, yeah.
rubber was rationed,
Lots of meats.
meats was rationed, sugar, gasoline was definitely rationed.
Yeah.
And then they had all these paper drives and all kinds of drives and U.S. savings bonds and
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
But in order to make your wedding cake, didn't you have to
Mother made the wedding cake, and then she took it to the bakery, and they frosted it
Mm-hmm.
because it was the
A layer.
layers.
Yeah.
And you
right.
had to save up your coupons for sugar
Yes.
because you wouldn't have enough sugar to make much of a cake. You'd have to save it.
Oh, we all saved sugar for the wedding cake.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
What was the wedding cake like? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was it was a fruit cake.
Really?
Yeah, it was a 3-layer fruit cake. A large layer, a medium, and then a small one.
Did they have a little
A bride and groom just
There we go.
set it on top.
That's great. And it was a fruit cake with what color icing was it?
White.
It was? Did it have decorations on the frosting?
Yes, I can't remember who did the decorating.
Interesting. And where did you got married in the church that
Yeah,
he was the pastor of? Yeah.
yeah,
No, they got married at St. John's Lutheran.
St. John's.
Right. Who was the pastor there?
His dad.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
long time ago.
A while ago. I would say more than 50 years ago.
Oh yes.
42, that gets it to 92, to 12, to 92 to, 92, 02, 12, 22. It's 80 years ago.
Ah, that's right.
80 years ago
This month you got married.
this month.
Yeah.
80th anniversary coming up. That's pretty amazing.
Yep.
Where are your wedding pictures? Are
I
they
must have them.
in the basement?
No, they're up here.
In your study?
In the study?
On the bottom shelf.
Okay, let me get them because I think we can take a look.
So Merilee's going to go look for the wedding pictures.
Okay.
I've been interested in this for a long time. I want to know all the dirt. And because the living conditions, you're in the middle of war, there's rations going on. Travel is difficult.
Oh yes.
Travel is very difficult.
Yeah, yes, it's a shortage.
And gas, you don't have much gas to go tootling around. You go directly to where you're going and then stay put.
That's right.
When you were going to Wyoming, this is way far away from the farm.
It was a mile out of Oswald.
Well, that's the farm, but where's Wyoming?
Oh, Wyoming was, Forest Lake.
Yeah.
Forest Lake was Wyoming. Let's see.
It's maybe 40 miles, 50 miles.
No, it wasn't that far, I think.
This is them when they got married.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's
Wow, look at that dress. And what kind of flowers are those? Roses?
those
Yeah, we had, Dr. St. Cyr had a brother that was
a
a
florist.
florist, and so we got all of our fresh flowers from him.
Oh, and look at you have the gold bracelet
And I read that same bracelet
that Sarah wore.
that Sarah wore. when
Oh, let me
she-
see, where is that bracelet?
Right here.
Right there. That was worn by Sarah at
At
her
her
wedding
wedding?
in Mexico City.
Yeah.
Oh, for goodness sake.
And there's your dress with the long.
Boy, that is glamorous. That
It
is
was.
very glamorous.
It was a big-
That must have been difficult to get the materials for all of that.
Well, you had saved stamps for.
Right. For
Different
everything that you
things.
want to do. Now, with
So this is Myrtle,
Yeah.
and then is that Bernice?
oh,
And-
I want to see the picture, Merilee. It's shiny. Sorry.
Yeah. Let's see.
Who's this one on the far left of this picture?
That's Bernice, I think.
Yeah. That's
Who's next to
right.
Bernice?
This Clarence.
That's Clarence.
Who's the
And
little
then
girl?
that's
Carla.
Carla Robbins,
And there's Dorothy.
Dorothy, and this is Lenore,
Hold on.
and Mildred.
Mildred.
Wait a second. I'm just getting nothing but reflect. Hold it there like that, Merilee. Now, there you go. Who's this right here? This little girl.
This is Carla Robbins.
No.
No. I think you want one. You said, which is that?
That's
Lenore.
Lenore and Carla.
I see.
Okay. And I see Art's picture. Who's next to Art?
That's his best friend,
What's his name?
Stuart Dorr,
Stuart Dorr.
Okay.
Good job,
and then Schweigert
Harold.
Harold.
And who's the woman between Dorr and Schweigert?
That's
Millie.
Millie.
Oh my goodness, she's glamorous too.
Yeah, she was a medical tech.
Oh, that's right.
Med
And
tech.
who's the woman on the end?
June.
June.
June, yeah.
Oh my goodness, June is right there.
And she
This
was-
is Millie.
that's
This
right.
is Art and Myrtle. This is
Dorothy.
Dorothy
and Clarence
and Clarence.
and Bernice. And
Oh.
these were little nieces.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I got that.
This was,
That's good.
and there's another wedding picture.
Gosh, that's a good picture of those two.
Yeah.
Myrtle, you are a beauty.
Huh?
You are a beauty.
She was.
Well,
and she is.
I would say thank goodness some of that rubbed off on your daughter.
And then
She's a beauty too.
look at Joy.
Joy.
Isn't she cute?
She was 6.
Oh, my
she's
goodness.
a cutie pie. And this is Joy.
Joy had blonde hair.
Yes, she had long hair.
Blonde hair.
Well, not really. It was brown.
It was brown. Okay.
And there's Joy.
Now that looks like Joy.
Yep. And then there's Joy and Mom.
Joy and Mom.
This was a school picture.
This is Joy.
It's a
And
school.
this was Joy when.
Oh.
This is me.
Oh, is that you?
This
Yeah.
is Merilee Klemp. Wait a second. Let me see if that's similar. Okay. All right. Okay, give me that look one time. Give me that look. No, that doesn't look like you.
Well,
The hair on top of your head, that doesn't look like you at all. Okay, who's the next
all right.
one?
So then Joy. This is Joel.
Yeah, that's Joel.
And I think this is
Wait, I'm gonna,
Who's that?
here you go, because it's reflecting off of the chandelier, so I can't see this picture. And who's this down here?
I think it's Renee.
Okay,
That was you?
No, I think this
Renee.
is Renee.
that's another wedding picture.
This is somebody else. See, who is that?
I don't know. Joy had a muff that I liked.
She was in the wedding.
Yeah.
Who is that wedding?
I don't know.
All I see is, I can't see anything but the light. Oh, there we
Somebody
go.
out of St. John's.
Okay.
And here's Donna and Clarence.
Oh, yeah. That's all.
Clarence is a handsome dude.
And this was Grandpa Klemp.
Yeah,
Let me get that picture of me and Grandpa.
Grandpa Klemp.
yeah. He was.
Now he's Grandpa,
he-
your Grandpa. Is that
He
right, Merilee?
confirmed me.
He was the
he-
pastor. He was Art's dad.
Yep.
Got it.
And he. Yep. And then confirmation. Joy's confirmation.
Joy's confirmation.
All right, where's Joy?
Shame.
Oh, there she is. Can't miss her.
Can't
Same
miss her.
thing.
She stands right in front of her dad.
She
Like
did.
her dad.
She stands right in front of him. I'm gonna go like this. Oh. Oh, okay. All right.
And then when I was a flower girl.
Oh, Merilee,
yeah, for-
gorgeous.
For Lenore's wedding.
Joy.
Yeah. And then they
Oh, there's Joel. All right.
and then they had
Colorized.
colorized because that's the color of my dress.
Color version.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Boy, you got a whole bunch of stuff in there, Merilee.
I know. And then you'll recognize this.
And
That's-
this was when you were 16? What is that?
No,
Yeah.
Joy's
No,
wedding.
I can't see anything because of that light. There you go. There we go. Joy's wedding.
And this was when Joy was in college
Oh, yeah.
and you were teaching.
Yeah.
Nice hairdo, Mare. Joel,
Joe
leave it to Beaver. Right there.
Yeah.
was in grade school.
And that's more of that. And these were just other pictures of family. You didn't have a picture of your wedding cake. Did they take a picture?
I don't think I had. I don't think I could. I didn't think I took a picture of the wedding cake.
This is, when was this taken?
Well, I'm going to come over here. Hold on a
That
second.
was
I'm going to go over here.
before. That's my high school.
This is her high school graduation.
Hold a second. I'm going to get there in a second. I'm going to come over here. So I can see the pictures that she's looking at with her.
Okay.
Because right now, it's hard to see. There we go. Okay, who's this picture? Who is this?
That's high school.
This is you in high school?
Yeah.
This is you in high school. And this was
Gosh.
well, I mean, it's you. Now
Wavy hair.
what is this little flip on your hair? What is that called? Is that a spit curl?
What's that?
That little thing I just wherever I touch it, it sort of highlights it.
Well, I
Don't worry,
know
it's not. It
what
doesn't mean
is.
anything. We're not changing the picture.
How
at
did
all.
you get your hair to wave like that?
Huh?
How did you get your hair to do that?
Got my hair. They're cut. I went to the barber.
Oh, okay.
Didn't go to the beauty parlor. I just went to the ordinary barber.
To the ordinary barber, and he said, "Okay, I can do that for you."
Yep.
Now, who is this? It looks like
That's Dorothy and I.
this is
That's
you
me and that's Dorothy.
when you were confirmed.
we were confirmed together.
Okay, let's see.
So you were 12?
Huh?
You were 12
Yeah.
and she was 13.
And you have a short dress here.
Yeah.
It was relatively short. You looked very glamorous, the two of you. Where was this picture taken? Were you in Osseo?
I think so. No, we went to the studio where they took pictures.
Where was that studio?
West Broadway.
Oh, on West Broadway in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Well, that's very cool.
There wasn't anybody close
There wasn't anybody close.
to home.
Yeah. All right. Show us some pictures, Mayor.
I don't know who this is. Who is that?
Oh, I think that was probably maybe my dad. I don't know. It doesn't say.
Oh, maybe in the back? Ted Oswald.
Oh, that's Ted Oswald. That's my
Interesting.
uncle Ted, my dad's youngest brother.
His youngest brother.
Yeah,
I get it.
they dressed the boys like the girls.
In those days.
Yeah,
He was a sweet boy, it seems like. And the last picture is my confirmation picture.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah. And where was this, Merilee?
At Our Savior's Lutheran.
Our Savior.
at church.
Yeah.
Up by the altar.
Yep.
Yeah,
So those were a lot of pictures. But this dress, oh my gosh. That dress is really something.
oh, did you ever see it?
Yes, I used it for my wedding.
I thought you did.
Yes, and I think it's still in the closet.
Maybe
Yeah, I think it is still in the closet.
that's the bridal party.
Yeah, and this was June's wedding to Eldon.
Oh, everybody wearing dark suits and what color were the dresses?
Olive, because it was October.
Oh, because that's the color in the
They were velvet.
The velvet, dark green velvet.
That's beautiful.
What year was June married? Oh,
We don't know. It was after 42.
it was after 42, quite
Yeah.
a bit. It was in the
That's
50s.
for sure. And that was when Joy was just 4 years
With a little
old.
muff on her hands and all
Yeah,
that.
that was very cute.
Okay, so you got married in 42. It was World War II. You were in Wyoming. You didn't know anybody.
My husband was pastor.
I know, but you didn't know anybody.
No.
But you weren't teaching when you first, weren't you teaching when you were
I
first
was
married?
teaching, yeah.
Where were you teaching? In Wyoming?
No, I was teaching in Hennepin County.
And where?
Hennepin County?
Hennepin County, right close, just a couple miles from home, all 8th grades.
So you drove back and forth from Wyoming to school?
No, not after I was married. I taught in Forest Lake.
You did, okay.
Yeah,
So
that
after
was-
you moved to Wyoming, then you
Yeah.
moved to you had school in Forest Lake. But did you drive there, or how did you get to school?
Even at home.
You were in Wyoming,
Oh,
and then you went to Forest Lake. Where did you go? How did you get to work?
yeah, to drove. I took the car, or either Art took me when he wanted to make calls.
Got it. So you made arrangements Then you sometimes, were you able to drive when you were that age?
Oh, sure, I did before I was, maybe when I was home before I was married. I took the driver's test.
How old were you when you were driving?
Before I was married.
22, 23?
Oh yeah, I was driving when I was probably, as soon as I can get a license.
That's my question. How old were you? Were you 16?
Oh yeah, I was 16.
Were you 15?
No, I don't think so. I can't tell you for sure.
Because it's a secret. I understand. You don't want to let the young people today know that you were driving out on the farm when you were 14 years old or something
No,
like that.
well, the farming kids.
Oh, there we go. I knew that was true. I knew that was true.
Not the girls.
So the girls could drive. Could they drive tractors and things like that?
Well, some girls did. I never did.
Was that because you were younger? You were the younger kid in the family? Why didn't you drive?
I was the third one.
I know. So you had older siblings who could drive, and then you didn't get to drive?
Bernice didn't drive.
She didn't. Oh.
No. We only had one car, and I don't think Bernice ever drove it. And
Right.
Dorothy did.
She did.
Because she was at home and she had to drive.
Yeah. Did you ride horses?
No, I didn't drive horses.
You didn't get a saddle and ride the horses around?
No,
You were not a cowgirl.
No,
I see. Okay.
I never drove horses. we could drive on it. We could be on the big wagon that was pulled by the horses.
Okay, so it's a joke.
Somebody else had to drive them.
So how do you hook up the horses to the wagon? Did you get to do that, or was that somebody else?
That was somebody else.
Wasn't that your dad?
Or her music, a hired man.
Oh, you had a hired,
Yeah,
that
I
helped your dad.
hired help.
Yeah,
Got it.
yep. So,
Yeah, it was a big job on the farm at that time.
And you had to have help. 'Cause
Always.
There's too much work. Constant work.
First, we didn't have electricity.
Yeah.
We had to milk them all by hand.
I know. And that's one of the reasons you have so many kids in the family. You have to have more people to milk the cows.
Yeah, we didn't all milk the cows.
Well, you don't want to milk the horses. That's a bad thing to do. So then you have to take care of all the livestock
Oh yeah.
and all the chores in the.
We always had a hired man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One or two?
Just one.
Just one.
Yeah.
My
And
goodness.
then the neighbors helped each other for certain special.
For big projects.
Yeah.
Not daily chores, but big
we'd
projects.
Call the fire, the guys. Let's see, when they had somebody come to thrash.
Oh,
During the harvest.
yeah.
Yeah.
You had to
harvest.
everybody would go from
Yeah.
farm to farm. And the ice, when would you do that?
In the summer.
Well, you'd go get the ice before it melts on the
in
lake.
the winter, I got them.
And
went to the Dover Lake.
Right.
Well, what was that?
Over by Rogers
No, it was in Maple Grove.
in Maple Grove. I know the lake. I know the one you're talking about.
Weaver Lake.
Weaver Lake.
They used to cut the ice and bring it and put it in the ice house.
Now, was that something that the farmers would get together and they would do that chore together? Because that's a big project.
Yeah.
Many days to do all of that
Yeah,
ice.
That's right.
Yeah.
They had to have cut that ice, cut these chunks,
Big chunks.
then haul them home and put them in the ice house
Yeah.
and put sawdust on.
Between
Yes.
the layers.
Somewhere.
And that's heavy, heavy, hard work. It's very hard work.
Yeah,
This is why you need a man every once in a while. He can move the heavy ice and haul it around.
that's right. And then we had, next step was when we had the ice man
Yeah,
that delivered the ice.
That's right. That's
and we
right.
just put them in the ice
In the
box.
in the ice box
Yeah.
in the kitchen.
Well, yeah, or in the winter we had them on the porch where no heat.
All right. Keep it cold. Right.
Yeah, that was it.
Right. It was hard.
Well,
It was hard living.
yeah, they made it worked.
Very few conveniences that we take for granted, like my cell phone right here, and I'm talking to you like. Now you know how
We had a phone.
you didn't have a cell phone
No.
with cameras and internet and all sorts of stuff on your phone.
That's right.
Things have happened a lot since 1915.
Oh my.
Planes, trains, automobiles,
Oh,
jets, fly to the moon, cell phones, computers.
yeah. Big change.
Big change, and many things you had to change. You had to change with the times
Yeah.
because things were happening all the time. Nothing ever stayed the same. World War II. You were still alive when World War I was going on, weren't you?
Yeah. I was small.
Very small.
1915, I was
And
born.
you lived through the measles epidemic, the Spanish flu,
suppose
the
I
Spanish
have.
flu,
I think so.
and you lived through the pandemic that we just had with COVID-19,
That's right.
and lived through polio.
Yeah, right.
Did you have tuberculosis shots when you were a little girl?
We had vaccine.
You did have vaccines,
Yeah.
and then I'm thinking tuberculosis and tetanus and all of the different shots. You were always measles, chicken pox.
Yeah.
Did you ever get chicken pox?
We had chicken pox.
You did?
Yeah, the whole family. Yeah.
No, exactly. You're all together in the same
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't believe we've survived that much. It's a lot of things.
That's right.
A lot of things. Yeah, I'm young. I'm 68.
And you haven't had all that.
No, if I live another 40 years, I'll be as old as you are now. That's true.
That's right.
You're 100. You'll be 107 in July. If I live another 40 years, I'll be 108. I'll be a year older than you are. It's amazing. You know how long we've been talking?
Huh?
How long have we been talking just now?
An
have
hour?
no- Hour.
Hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, right.
And I got it all recorded.
Oh, really?
I did.
I didn't know you were recording.
That's why.
That's why I'm holding the phone like this. This is an awkward place to hold the phone. So I was recording you the whole time.
Oh my goodness.
So we'll have to listen to it now later, but maybe not
I
tonight.
will I'll put it on YouTube. All right, we're going to be done now. Say goodnight, Gracie. Say goodnight.
What?
Say
Say
goodnight,
goodnight.
Gracie.
Good night. Say good night to the
Oh,
phone.
good night.